So, new keyword, augment. When you play a created card, grant me plus 1/0. And we have a few cards with that. This is a little symbol for it. I think this thing could get very scary, Neon Droid, just because elusive. I still think is a keyword to be respected. Create a card, I mean, you could so easily just buff this up with like a Heimer and spells and stuff like that. It's whenever you play a created card though, like you can use 0 mana spells and just... There has to be just like a 0 mana spell OTK that you could do with Neon Droid too, right? With Heimer turrets and spells, it seems like a lot of APM, but you could easily get that thing to 23 in a lot of cases, correct? I think this one's probably one of the better cards in this. Armed Gearhead. Quick attack, gets extra, I mean, it's fine. I mean, quick attack is helpful. Calculated creations, burst, create an armed gearhead, neon droid, or a ballistic bot, which is this one. Around start, create an ignition hand, which is a slow fleeting, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. It definitely needs to be like when it gets one thing, a 2/3, it becomes an okay stat line. It's fine. Hex Core Foundry. It's really hard to really decide these because augment still takes time.
More mushrooms.
Hey, Dana, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Landmark. Round start, all players draw 1. This card is one of the coolest cards that they've printed so far that I've seen. Reason being is that it just enables so many things. There's like Teemo decks that you can play with it. There's Turbo Deep decks that you can play with it. There's Control decks that you can play with it. There's just so many things that it can do. You built that already? Is Shards of the Mountain Viktor OTK? Heck yeah. That's what, when I see that card, that's what I think about. That makes sense, Shards of the Mountain. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. After shock, deal 3 or destroy a landmark. A 4 mana deal 3 slow isn't very good, but... And landmark, it could be helpful. It's just kind of like one of those toolbox cards that's kind of meta dependent. I mean, I think pretty cool stuff overall. It's still pretty hard to say how good it's going to be. Like I said, anything that takes time to ramp up,
more mushrooms.
It has to be a pretty big payoff for that, you know? Zyle, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. And then here's... Oh, well, this is a Cosmic's idea, but Viktor, Augment. So that means he also gets plus 1/0, which is pretty sweet. And with 5 health, that's pretty good amount of health. You create cards, cost 1 less, which is pretty cool. Doesn't work that well with Heimer because his is already 0, but there's got to be other things I would think would help with that. Create a Hex Core upgrade in hand. Oh, 1 less Vaporealis, yeah, that's pretty cool. Where is the Viktor? I forgot what his upgrade is, but I will move on for now. Monastery of Hirana. This card to me, I don't really get what it's there for. I feel like there's gotta be something for it. Recall an ally, like it's like Yasuo, but it's recalling an ally. And Ionia isn't really known for having super strong summon effects. And two, it's not like you're recalling the ally and reducing the cost of it after. Like, if you recall Mina, she still costs 9 mana. So, like, I feel like there's more to this card than meets the eye, but I don't know what it is. Because I'm thinking, why would they print this? I mean, there's meme potential with it. With, like, the P&Z card that creates cards based off the number of times you've played it. But it's just, it's strange to me. Second elusives. Yeah, it's pretty okay with, like, Green Glade Duo. Or Tavern Keeper. Yeah, just the fact that you're paying 3 to pay 1 to replay your own card. You know? You still paid 4 mana to replay 1 Blade Scout. 5 mana to replay 1 Blade Scout. That's why I'm kind of like, Like I said, you're still paying a lot of mana to do that. It's great with it. I still feel like it's too expensive. If this thing was 2 mana, my mind might be changed, but at 3 mana, that's such a low tempo. It's a big tempo loss. Boom, ship. This is definitely on the meme side. You'll want 2 units, summon power cakes equal to the amount. There's like Dreadway, there's Unyielding Kegs, and even then, like if I was playing in Yielding Kegs deck to win on the ladder, I probably wouldn't run this card still, but I'm playing a full meme one, I definitely run it. I like these kind of cards though, even though they're not very good, they make pretty hilarious interactions and hilarious things possible, which is always a positive. Hit that stairs, play obliterate all landmarks, or deal 2 to all other units. I feel like deal 3 to all other units would help it out quite a bit, but 2 just, and that late in the game, I mean, there's a chance it becomes an aggro stabilizer sometimes, but it's just like, I would rather just play an avalanche, and even then it's like, eh. And obliterating all other landmarks. The landmarks have to be really good for me to consider playing this, and you're playing it on turn 8, maybe turn 7 or 6 with ramp, but still, I just don't know. I don't think that play effect is good enough. It would help if it was summon and you gotta pick, but play effect, I just don't think it's gonna be good enough. Wiggly, burble, fishy, elusive, reduce my cost by 1 for each spell you've cast in this game. When I'm summoned, create 1 cost spell from your regions in hand. I think this card kind of got... I think the card is being underrated a bit, quite honestly. And I don't even say that just because it's super cute. I think Bilgewater elusives have long been underrated. They've always been missing a little something something though. But I feel like this is just going to give you a little extra, potentially being a fairly low cost card. I don't know. I wish it had a tune. I think it would fit a little bit better if it had a tune. I think it'd be cool. But, And then Homecoming, recall an ally unit or landmark to recall an enemy unit or landmark. This is a card that can be crazy if, like, you're countering someone's vengeance and you're like, hey, I saved my creature and I'm now removing one of yours, essentially. But you can't play it proactively ever, but generally Ionia doesn't want to play very proactive anyway. I don't know, I think the card could be a little underrated. I think there's chances where its swing potential can just be huge and blow someone out of the water, but it seems like mostly against SI decks. Scarground's landmark when an ally survives damage, granted +1/0 and tough this round. I think this is a pretty good card. I think this is a really good card. Is it good enough to make Vlad be where he is? To really be playable? I don't think so. It's in the right direction. I think this is a Braum card, personally. I think this card is very, very good with Braum. Tough, regen, 5 health, and now 1 attack as well. And then in the future, he'll just continue to get more attack. I feel like that's pretty solid overall. I feel like a Captain Farron Braum deck with this could be in order, and things with high health. Maybe things that generate more value too, but I feel like this card is pretty good. I'm really excited to mess around with it. Broadback Protector too. Yeah, it's actually kind of gross. It has so much potential in it. I think this card is probably better than it meets the eye. Tough is such a good keyword too. We're seeing more and more decks recently that have been using removal tools in PNZ and Noxus, and those aren't really going away per se. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the Scars get more stuff in the future, but Scargrounds I think is pretty freaking good. Battering Ram. Oh yeah, this is the combo with the Back Alley Barkeep and Sanctuary. A fun meme list that I'll have to play. Alright, and these were today's. Right? Yes. First off, I want to say I think this card is freaking nuts. Solari Sunforger, I think this card is pretty disgusting, actually. First off, 4 mana 5/4 stats are really good. Anything with 4 health in this game tends to be pretty decent. For 4 mana 4 health, that's nuts. Even if you don't get the Daybreak on this card, a 4 mana 5/4 in this game is a very good stat line. And then the lifesteal on top of that, like, I think this card's disgusting. It's so gross. It's so disgusting. I think this might be the most broken card that we've seen. It's the only one that I look at and I'm like, holy crap. Like, I think this card's crazy. Pesky Spectre. This is a fun meme combo. Create 2 copies of me in the enemy deck. Oh, this is a fun meme. It's 0 mana. This just seems like... It seems like there's so many potentials to just... The fact that it's 0 and not 1... Oh, it's gonna cause some things to happen. Evershade Stalker. This card is just bleh. Bleh. Like, the fact that this thing can't block as a 2-mana 2/2. It needs to be able to block. Even if this thing could block, I still don't think it would be that good. It would be better. But the fact that it can't block, I think it just kills this card completely. Grand Plaza. When an ally is summoned, give it +1/1 and challenger this round. Pretty nuts card. I don't know if Demacia, if it'll be too low tempo or not, but I feel like we're going to see a different version of how we see Demacia right now. A little bit more value-oriented than before, because it is going to play a little bit slower. I feel like Brightsteel Formation might become a bit better as well. I could see Brightsteel Formation Demacia decks being pretty neat with this. I think it's a pretty exciting card. I like the Challenger keyword quite a bit personally, so I'm excited for it. Captain Arica? With Spell Shield, 8 mana 6/6, play capture a unit or landmark. I wish it wasn't capture, I wish it was destroy, but it does have Spell Shield. It'll be interesting to see if this with like a slower deck works. I don't know how to feel about this one because I don't know how good the landmarks are going to be and when they're played. Maybe this one will end up capturing this, funny enough. Targon's Peak. Round start, reduce the cost of a random card in each player's hand to 0 this round. Hey, do you remember my super greedy Targon Freljord list? I would love to play this, and it's a bit scary card. Anything that says turn something to 0, I'm always a bit worried about, because that is a lot of RNG in it, but there's definitely ways that you could build, you know, you're obviously building the deck for this card, and it does become scary. It does cause some crazy blowout potentials. It's very much the Hearthstone-y card. I don't know exactly how I feel about it. I feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like it's gonna be pretty okay, but I could be very wrong. 5 mana is a very low tempo, and with Trundle being nerfed, you can't catch up on that tempo as well as before, where like Trundle could easily, like, you know, carry you from turn 4 to like 7 or 8, and you could have had the time to play this. But since Trundle's nerf makes it a bit harder to play this thing, but this thing is scary. Any card that gives your opponent's value is eh, but I mean, it does, but I would assume you would get a lot more value if you built your deck. It's a slightly worse Lich's Ascension. You're just completely wrong on that, Cash. What? Lich's Ascension, you can only play 1 card. This card is so much better than Lich's Ascension. It's not even close. If you're against aggro, you barely give on value, but if you're playing this card against aggro, you've already won. That's the thing. Because you would think that this card would be better against mid-range. And even then, I don't know, it's hard to say like what matchup this actually helps you in, besides like crazy high rolls, of course. Giving it to your opponent too definitely hurts, but like I said, if you're playing this against aggro, you've already won the game, you know? It's definitely a sick meme card for sure. It is a sick meme card. Moonlight Affliction Burst, 5 mana. Silence 2 enemy units this round, and Nightfall that can't block this round. This card has, like, this card at 5 mana, I don't know if it's going to be good enough. It has a chance to be, like, the most toxic thing ever, like, be the next Hush. I don't think it will be at 5 mana. I feel like it's more of a control card than an aggro card, personally. I mean, think of this card even with, like, Trundle, an Ice Pillar, where you can control where one thing blocks and then just tell the other two they can't block. Is stuff good enough because of the open attack? But what would you run it in, necessarily? Open attack off elusive, but It's elusive. Who cares? Oh, we're saying what about Bilgewater Targon elusives? I don't know. People are really hyped about this card, and I might just be very wrong. But I feel like it's going to be slower than people think. It's Nightfall, so you have to play like, what, like a Pale Cascade, or a Vile Feast, or a Guiding Touch, Fading Memories, and SI aggro. But you have to have 2 cards for it, though. You have to have 2 cards for it, though. Decisive with a 5 mana fast. I don't think Decisive is really that good, though. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think it... No, I'm not sure. I think it's overhyped, personally. I could be very wrong on that, though. This is a very hard card to judge. It's a really hard card to judge, but personally, I don't know. I think it's getting overhyped. I think at 4 mana the card would be broken. I think at 5 mana, though, a 5 mana has to have something played before it. It's a 6+ mana card a lot of the time. You're gonna be very upset about this card when it kills you. Will I, though? What Prospect are you pairing it with to give it the Nightfall? Like, what decorate? Like, give me the, like, dream scenario of this card. What are you playing beforehand that just makes this card, like, you know, the best ever? And on top of that, you can also use Hush on this card, too, to counter it, which is kind of funny. That's actually really funny that you can use Hush on this card to counter it. Warding Shot. I think Bilgewater elusives with this make more sense to me, personally. Maybe. I don't know. If you have that many elusives, you don't really care about the blockability. Wait. Question. Precipic. If you're playing this, and it says Nightfall, they can't block this round, if, like, let's say I go for an attack and they declare the blocks, it doesn't, and then I play that on it, it doesn't stop that block, right? Do you have to play it beforehand? It says they can't block this round. Does that mean they can't choose to block this round? Or they can't physically block this round? That's actually a really weird wording. They can't choose to block this round, or they can't physically block this round.
Yeah, what I'll eventually do is...
Jax is getting scratch on. Works like Ash, so they can't choose to block this round. That makes the card significantly worse in that regards. So you have to declare it beforehand. I'm not a believer. I'm not a believer. I don't know. I'm just not. I'm not saying that someone's not going to kick my butt with this card sometime. I sure think they will. But I don't think, I think 5 mana Nightfall. I would be more inclined to believe this would be in a mid-range deck, or maybe even control deck than a, actually not control, I can't really see in control. I feel like this would be more mid-rangey than aggro. I feel like, I don't know. I'm not a believer, okay? I'm not saying it's impossible for it to be good. I don't think the card is just, I don't know, it could be trash, but I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being good. I'm not a believer. I'm just not. In aggro, it's like cast Double Vengeance. But I don't usually want to cast Double Vengeance in aggro. It's 5 mana. You gotta keep talking about that, but you have to have another card beforehand still. Like, maybe like a Mistwraith Fading Memories deck. Yeah, like, maybe. But, like, that's the thing that I can maybe see it in. I still think the card is being overhyped, though. I think it's not as good as people think it's going to be.
Yeah, so I got shocked there. Yeah, it looks really
I think it's too slow. I know that it's going to be a hot take. That's going to be my hot take of this expansion, is I think that this card is being overrated, assuming that people are saying it's going to be really good. I haven't listened to other people's thoughts on it, though.